Hey, Matt from the A-Team here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this, and this, and this. Today on 4-Minute Film School, we're going to light for 3 looks in one location. Let's go. If you've ever felt trapped in one location, don't worry, we've all been there. This episode is specifically just for that. Today, we're actually challenging ourselves to shoot in literally just one location with a bunch of different looks. We have a high-key look, a dark, low-key look, and a music video look. Let's see how we do. So we're here at Flash House Studios. We are going through our first look, which is a high-key look. Think Hallmark movies or commercials or corporate type interviews. And the first light that we're actually using is our practicals off in the background. These are great. They are spreading light across our entire background, giving some nice ambiance to our frame and also providing a nice edge light behind our talent. So for our second light, we're utilizing the 300D Mark II along with the Light Dome 2 and 2 layers of diffusion. That way, that light is spread evenly across and pointed towards our background, making the background in our mirror a little less dark. So our third light is also for the background. This is the Nova P300C set to a daylight color balance. All we did was just spread the light evenly across our background, now behind our talent as opposed to through the mirror. But then we noticed there's shafts of light coming through our background, so to cut that out, we just used a simple floppy to have a nice even spread of light. So for our fourth light, we want to create an edge light, but there's a few wooden beams in our way. So what we decided to do was take a 300X, set it to a warmer color temperature, and then point it high above and then downwards using the Fresnel 2X. That way we're hitting the back of our subject's head, creating a really nice edge light and almost popping her hair from the background. So for our last light, we have the 300X with another Light Dome 2 and 1 layer of diffusion. We also made sure to position the light about 20 to 30 degrees away from the camera so it's not too frontal and it's not too side lit either. If it's too frontal, it would flatten the face, and if it's off to the side, it would add too much contrast to the face. We want something that has a little bit of dimension, but a nice flattering look as well. So with that, let's take a look. Now moving on to our second setup, this is low-key lighting. And in low-key lighting, you want to control your light as much as possible, so we need to start with basically 0 light. To do that, we covered our windows with literally trash bags, and we added an ND filter to our camera setup. Then we modified the position of our camera and changed our lens to a 50mm prime lens. This compresses the space behind our talent and also adds a lot more shallow depth of field. So for our first light, we have the 300X set to a daylight color temperature. Then we placed it along to the side of the background pointed upwards to add an interesting shape and dimension in the background. Now for our second light, we have the Nova P300C also set to a daylight color balance to match the 2 different color temperatures. And we made sure to place it onto the side of our talent to add a really nice side key light. Next, we're going to modify our key light. And to do that, we're going to add a layer of opal frost to diffuse some of that key light and soften the light hitting our talent. Then to minimize any spillage onto the rest of our set, we're going to add some negative fill. And for that, we're going to use 1 cutter and 1 floppy. For our last modifier, we're adding another floppy, and this is more negative fill to take away any extra light hitting the opposite side of the face and adding to the drama within our scene. As for our last lights, we have 3 Aputure MCs, 1 set to a daylight color temperature placed in the background for some extra texture, and then 2 placed above our talent set to a tungsten mode. This is really to add some extra dimension to the face, adding some shadows under the eyes and the chin, and to add some color contrast. And now, let's take a look at that. Moving on onto our last setup, this is music videos. It's important to remember that with music videos, you can really go as crazy or as traditional as you want. And for us, we decided to reuse our practical light bulbs and then cover our mirror with trash bags, because in our shot, the background is so out of focus, you can't really tell what those are. We just wanted to make sure we're not seeing any reflections of our set within the mirror. Then we also added 4 stops of an ND filter on our camera to make sure that the lights aren't flaring in the background. Moving on to our second light setup, we have the Nova P300C set to a blue hue. Then to add some diffusion, we added a layer of opal frost and half white. This is what's known as a double break because you're adding 2 layers of diffusion. Then to focus the light even more just on the subject's face and taking away light from the shirt, we added a layer of double net. For our last light, we wanted to flare the camera, and to do that, we added another 300x set to 4200 Kelvin like before. Then we added a Fresnel and barn doors, and then focused that light to just hit the lens of the camera, creating a lens flare. This being a music video, you can really add some interesting visuals to your frame. What we decided to do was add a fan to our subject, that way her hair is blowing in the wind. And with that, you have your music video shot. Let's check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Our comment question of the week is, what's a bad location that you fixed with good lighting? Let us know in the comments below, and I want to read them. You might just win an Aputure M9. And while you're at it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more tutorials. I've been Matt with the A-Team. Thanks for watching 4 Minute Film School, and happy shooting.